MVs,
Good, good. How are you?
I'm alright. Where are you from, brother?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I
From
can hear
Zimbabwe.
you. No problem. So, what do you think about the topic? Many people say
Okay.
we should remove Zimbabwe as a frontline state on the list. Should we remove Zimbabwe as a frontline state, or are they deserving to be in the frontline state? What do you think? Talk to us.
So, to answer your question, firstly, a lot of people here don't know what frontline states is. You've been asking that question, no one has answered it. I see a lot of people on the panel were just ranting and they couldn't answer exactly what it is frontline states is. Why would you remove a country that actually helped you attain the freedoms and luxuries that South Africa has today? Zimbabwe itself was one of the first people in the frontline states to help South Africa with the Boer Wars. If people don't know that, the Boer Wars that's where the frontline states issue started. But today you find South Africans want to fight Zimbabweans, they want to fight Africa as a whole. But the freedoms that they're enjoying, the luxuries, everything were attained because of the same people who helped them attain those things. Secondly, South Africans, literally black South Africans are the ones fighting their own black fellow brothers and sisters because they have this notion, or whoever built this notion of Zimbabweans are stealing jobs, Zambians are stealing jobs. Which jobs are these exactly? Because I find a lot of South Africans are enjoying luxurious jobs. There's no South African that I've seen or talked to who is eager to work in those jobs that Zimbabweans are occupying, which are low-level jobs, which are waitering jobs, which are plumbing jobs, which are road cleaning jobs. I don't see any new generation South African taking up those jobs. So when you speak about jobs in general, South Africans should be very clear which jobs those are, right? Because Zimbabweans, most of these Africans in South Africa are working low-level jobs, waiters, cleaners, etc., right? And every South African has a job above that. Even if you ask a normal South African, a Gen Z, to work in a McDonald's, they don't. Who do you want to occupy that space? And the same time, South Africans want quality of service. People are not providing quality of service in these jobs that are so-called Zimbabweans are taking jobs. Number three, actually, South Africa, when it negotiated its apartheid situation in 1990, Zimbabwe was number one in making sure that happened. The same Zimbabwe South Africans want to kill, chase away, and say whatever, right? South Africans should be very clear, especially black South Africans should be very clear. What jobs? Which ones? Because I don't see them fighting white people when the farmer boys come and start taking corporate jobs and taking all these marketing jobs and all these nice fancy jobs. They don't fight white people. Why? And most of these white people are not South African. 80% of them are not South Africans. South Africans, when they come to Zimbabwe, they set up businesses, they build houses, they do everything that they need to do here. No one has ever said to a South African, get out of Zimbabwe. That has never happened, and it will never will, because my sister, farmer's daughter, whatever, I would ask her, has she ever been to Zimbabwe? No. Has she ever been to Harare? No. Does she even know what Harare looks like? What Zimbabwe looks like? No. Yeah, please let me finish. Let me finish before she goes on rant. You've never been to Zimbabwe to actually see what's on the ground. If you look at Joburg right now, and I'm not talking CBD Joburg, I'm talking about affluent Joburg. That is exactly what Harare looks like. The only problem with Zimbabwe is political. It's not to do with infrastructure. We have some of the best infrastructure in Africa, apart from South Africa, right? The only issue with Zimbabwe is a political issue that has gone on for quite a long time, which has seen people looking for greener pastures elsewhere because of politics. Politics. South Africa right now has a power crisis because of politics. You guys are going to be in the dark at some point. We are coming from that because of politics. Our leaders that were there now and before, when they took over from the white system, they didn't put in place systems that would grow whatever was there. That's the only problem that Africa's facing. It's a challenge of leadership, accountability, and everything else. And I don't see South Africa in that position taking accountability for anything other than Zimbabweans must go, Africans must go. And the problem with that is that those luxuries, like I spoke about, that they are enjoying today are because of their fellow brothers and sisters.
No problem. I think please summarize.
So, in my summary, that whole fight of Zimbabweans must go is a nonsense situation. If South Africa wants to be in a space where they can manage their immigration situation, that's on a political level. Zimbabwe can manage their situation on a political level, which they are not, because the cartels, even in both countries, are the ones that do this whole thing that the farmer was talking about, stealing cars, what. These are organized crime situations. No ordinary Zimbabwean is just stealing a car from South Africa and bringing it to Zimbabwe. Doesn't make sense.
No problem. MVs, no problem. Yeah, family, I want to say this. To run TikTok live is very
a chance.
Yeah, I will.
Can you also give me a chance because you called on my name and I need to respond to him? Thank you.
Farmer's daughter. Everyone, wait. Family, to run a TikTok live is very difficult. Very difficult. Because you listen to a lot and some of the things are triggering. Very triggering. And you have to always come in, just let's talk, but it's difficult. It's difficult. All right, let me hear Back Lady. Back Lady wants to respond, then I'll give Z. Then Farmer's daughter. Back Lady, how are you?
I'm good, Rasta. How are you?
I'm all right, and I'm not happy because the panel is bad and I am angry as well. So
Why are you angry?
no, listening, sometimes listening triggers because you hear a lot and you get to a point where you become angry. Yeah, but
As we used to the lies by now, Rasta.
I'm a human as well. So what can you say? Back Lady, around the submission of MVs, or do you have a question? Do you have a comment? What do you want to say?
Nah, I don't have a question because questions are never answered. They just dance around questions, so there is no point. I wanted to respond to him when he said South Africans don't want to do certain jobs. I don't understand which South Africans he's talking about. Unless if he knows all South Africans, he's spoken to all unemployed South Africans and they told him that. The fact that your people from Zimbabwe leave your country, they come here and they take over jobs, it doesn't mean that South Africans don't want to do those jobs. We have a lot of unemployment in this country. There's a lot of people who would do anything to get those jobs. So before you come up here and make up stories to make yourself comfortable where you guys are clearly not wanted, don't come with lies. A lot of South Africans will give anything to get those jobs. You guys are taking over the jobs because you take less than minimum wage, and a lot of South Africans aren't able to get those jobs. Before you flooded this country, who was doing the jobs? Do you guys feel like you are so special that you are the only ones who can clean houses? You are the only ones who can serve people in the restaurants? I mean, who was doing that before you guys came here? You guys lie so much, like you open your mouths and you lie. You're so used to it, you don't even hear yourself when you're lying. Don't say things that are not true. Just say, we are here to invade and we want to take over and replace you. That is more of the truth than what you're saying here. You people want to replace South Africans. You want to take over everything that is South African. because you feel like your poverty is better than South African poverty. You feel like your people are suffering more than South African poor are suffering. That is why you come here on lives and people start crying here. Do you think South Africans are not crying because of hunger as well? Do you think poor South Africans are not hurt as well because of what the government is doing in this country? Why should we feel sorry for you when we have our own people to feel sorry for? What makes you guys think you are so special that everybody must feel sorry for you? You are perpetual victims. Everybody must run around, serve you because you are poor Zimbabweans. Your government is doing what to you? Our government is doing a lot to us. Do you see us running to other people's countries and inconveniencing them? No, we are not. We are here fighting with you guys over our country. You guys can't fight for your own country, but you're here fighting us over our country, telling us we should do these jobs, we must do that jobs. How Zimbabweans deserve to be here. They deserve nothing. We owe them nothing. Front line, left line, whatever you want to call it, we don't care. This country was built by South Africans. Black South Africans their sweat and tears built this country. Black South Africans were unalived for this country. We're not going to listen to anybody here coming with lies and saying we must accommodate. We don't have to do anything that we don't want to do. We owe you absolutely nothing. Zero. Until you guys start to understand that and accept it.
Why don't you go fight the war and create another
Can you
country
please
in
just
your
shut up?
country?
Nobody was speaking when you were speaking. Please shut up. Don't irritate me.
Everyone,
Relax.
wait, back lady, wait. MVs, look, when a woman is speaking, you keep quiet because you spoke for 5 minutes, people were quiet. But when they are speaking, you come in. That's rude and disrespectful. So don't do that. Allow the women to speak and finish. I would really appreciate that. Please. Is that okay? MVs? Sharp. Please allow people to speak and finish, unless if you don't want to. No problem. I know you will be triggered because they are telling you the truth. I am triggered as well because you spoke a lot what you spoke. So just keep quiet, allow the women to speak and finish. So continue, back lady. When you are done, I will give Zed, then farmer's daughter. He will respond if he wants to respond. So back lady, summarize sharp.
Thank you, Rasta. Okay, in summary, you know, some people are irritating. You even lose your train of thought because somebody can't even control himself for 2 minutes. In summary, Rasta, what I'm going to say, they can rant and rave and do whatever they want. They can come here on these platforms, nyonyering every day. There will be Dudulat. Whether you are crying, whether you come with a sob story, whether you come with whatever, your mother ran away, your father did, we don't care. Our people are also suffering here and nobody cares. When we speak about our suffering people, you tell us that our people are lazy, you swear at us. Why should we care about your problems? We only care about the problems of our people in South Africa. We only want to see them prosper. You must go cry to your government. You all have governments. Go cry to them. You've been here for over 30 years. If we owed you anything, we've paid you with interest. So whatever we've been feeding you and giving you for over 30 years, the jobs and all the accommodations and everything that you've been taking and leeching from this country, that's payment enough. Anything else, any sob story, anybody coming here and claiming to be what, I was born and then my mother ran and then she went to wherever and came back and we don't care about those stories. At this point, we just don't care. You can scream, you can say whatever. It's more like it's going in one ear and out the other. We really couldn't care less. All we want to see is people out of this country. The invasion has to stop. If we have to do it ourselves because we have a useless government, we will do it ourselves. Whether you come here, tell us about Ubuntu, what that nonsense got us here. That Ubuntu nonsense is the reason that we are here. South Africans are too nice for their own good.
All right, Zed, you can come in. I'm not sure if you have a question or submission. You can come in.
Both, Rasta, both. Can you hear me? But I would like to first ask Envis a question. Envis, my brother, tell me, what is the Boer War that you are referring to? That you claim that Zimbabwe helped us with? Envis, are you there? Okay. I'm not quite sure if your guest is here, Rasta. Maybe you should then drop him and replace him with someone who wants to engage. Because you see, he made a statement which is completely false. That Zimbabwe was at the
Sorry, I didn't hear
forefront
the
of
question.
assisting. The question is, what is the Boer War to which you referred to that Zimbabwe helped South Africa in, and when did this take place?
So when you look at frontline states, right, you have to understand
No, my brother.
why
my
the
brother.
frontline states actually
I
exist.
didn't ask you or that Zimbabwe was a leader in assisting South Africa in fighting against. When did this war take place?
Not a leader. Part
You said
of-
they were in the forefront.
Okay, so in a war, when people say you're in the forefront, it means you're in the trenches with the people, helping the people who are supposed to be
No,
helped.
it means you are taking leadership.
Frontline wars. Okay, let me explain. Frontline wars happened in the 1960s, right, to the 1990s, right? These were Boer wars that were being fought because of the invasion of the British in South Africa itself.
Okay, thank you.
And then South Africans themselves were the people being helped. The black South Africans were the ones being helped in this fight.
Envis, please keep quiet.
Yes, I can hear you.
This is my time. Please keep quiet and mute yourself. Now, as a South African, we have studied between 1899 and 1902. It's called Anglo-Boer War. He talks about the British invasion from 1960 to 1990. There was never such an invasion in South Africa. That's not our history. If there was a British invasion during that time, O.R. Tambo could not have been accepted in England to garner support in the UK, to garner support against the same government. There was no British invasion in this country between 1960 and 1990. There was a war between the English and the Afrikaner. It's called the Boer War, to which you referred to, which you clearly know nothing about. This is our history. Don't try and be an imposter and try to teach us our history. Just because you are black, that does not make you my brother. And there's nothing you can say or do to convince me otherwise. Many are now finding themselves ancestors in America, in a foreign land, because they were sold by black people, they themselves being blacks. So this is very important for you to understand. I don't identify with you with your blackness. I identify with you as an individual. Do you have ethics? Do you have principles as an individual? If you do have those, you will never invade anyone's country illegally. That can never happen. If Zimbabweans think that coming to South Africa, we've never said at any given point in time that Zimbabweans should not come to South Africa. We've been welcoming them. They must come here legally. They've never participated in our war against the struggle of apartheid. Mugabe is on record, and I am saying to you, because one, I perceive you are young, two, you are ignorant, I want you to go and educate yourself. Mugabe is on record saying apartheid system, which was against us here in South Africa, which is what we were fighting against. Mugabe is on record saying that's a problem for South Africans. They must resolve it by themselves. He is on live TV on YouTube to this day. Why? Because you can't delete what's on internet. Except, okay, well, you can, but not in most cases. So the point is this. Mugabe himself is on record saying Zimbabwe was not part of the frontline states. Then you come here, you say, what's his name, to Rasta, that you have been listening for a long time and no one described what a frontline state is. There's nothing difficult with the definition of the frontline states. And the frontline states was not established. Zimbabwe could never have been in the forefront, even if they were party to. If you had listened to my first submission that I made here this morning, you would have understood that I understand what a frontline state is. But Zimbabwe could never have been party of that in the initial stages. Why? Why? Let me tell you. Zimbabwe joined the frontline state once Mugabe came to power. Once Zimbabwe was free, that was in 1980, 79, 80, depending on which year you want to attribute to that. When were the frontline states established? In 1960. So between 1960 and 1980, there is a huge, gigantic 20 years. This is why Zimbabwe could never make the statement that you made. Anyone who knows our history, that you were in the forefront. No, if anything, you were in the tail. If we must admit that we're part of the frontline state, you were in the tail. And in my initial submission, I said, for me personally, the issue of the frontline states, it was a coalition of countries that wanted South Africa to be free. That's what it is. There is no intelligence required to define this. Okay, for you to come here and say we didn't define it, we have defined it ad nauseum at sundry times, so many times over. But the point is this, our war, you say in Zimbabwe was number one in making sure that negotiations took place in South Africa in 1990. There were no negotiations in South Africa in 1990. You even gave a specific year. Our negotiations started, if I should give you our history, at least tell the truth about it. Our negotiations started long before 1990, as early as 1984, 85. Okay, they were being done at different occasions up until, you didn't say the 90s, you said 1990. Stop lying. Remember what you said. You said 1990. I wrote that down when you were speaking. I'm not making this up. All the points that you said, I actually wrote them down. That's how you argue so that you don't misquote people. We know when the frontline states was formed. I believe that they did, but Mugabe, there's something that you have to do something about it. Mugabe's statement that Zimbabwe is not part of the frontline state in a BBC interview, that's not for me to deal with. If South Africans today are arguing that Zimbabwe is not a frontline state, it's precisely because of what Mugabe said, not because South Africa desires that Zimbabwe should not be part of frontline states. Mugabe made a lot of disparaging remarks concerning apartheid, by the way, and how that we were on our own and we were supposed to fight by ourselves. So you can't rewrite history. In as much as those who want to take Zimbabwe out of the frontline states would be rewriting history, you also can't be telling us here our history is like this when it is not like that. You spoke about about a Boer War which you knew nothing about. There's only been one Boer War in this country. That's the Anglo-Boer War. The ANC never fought. They never lifted a pinky in that war. It was an Afrikaner versus the English. That's the true history of South Africa. During apartheid, I actually worked during my university years in doing the very jobs you claim today South Africans do not want. Thank you, Rasta. It's a pity my time is out because there's a lot that I needed to say, but thank you.
Please write it down. So I'll give Envis 3 minutes to respond, then I give Farmer's Daughter so that I can give Roxy. Envis, what are your feelings?
Zed, thank you for the history.
Sure.
Thank you for the history, Zed. But like I'm saying still, This fight that South Africa seems to be having with Zimbabwe is a political situation. No one can denounce that. No one can say otherwise. It's a political situation. People can have their feelings about A, B, C, and D, but it's a political situation. Number two, when South Africans are fighting their fellow brothers, and I say it to Zet because look at any Arab country. They treat each other like brothers no matter what country they are from because they are in one region. So they treat each other like brothers and sisters. It's only Africans who have been colonized enough to believe that the next black person is not your brother. We have been colonized to the bone to believe that. And that is so wrong on so many levels. That's why South Africa right now can fight another black person. But if you look at Orania itself, that is a country being built in South Africa itself. South Africans can say whatever they want. That is a country being built in a country. White people have taken over so many things in your country. They've built Cape Town for themselves. They've built other places for themselves. Why isn't that the same black people fighting the black Zimbabweans cannot go and fight those same white people that are taking over those things that they want? And on top of that, South Africa, the way it is now, was built by white people. No one can deny that. Certain African places were built by white people. The infrastructure standing was built by white people. The only difference is that South Africa is not fighting for that same infrastructure. They're not fighting for that same space to be in for themselves. Zimbabwe has fought for their space. We took back whatever we needed to take back, and we're building our country. Yes, are we hurting? Very much so. But we'll get there eventually. We'll get to a place where we need to get to, and we'll move. Right? But the issue of Zed saying, looking at another black person, I don't see you as my brother or my sister, that is so wrong on so many levels, because it shows that the colonial ideology that was set by white people has taken root so big, and so it's so big that Africans can now think of themselves as, I don't see another black person as a brother or a sister, but we live in the same space, same continent. The only thing that is against us is a border. Back in the day when there were no borders, everyone could cross over and do whatever they needed to do. But now we hear stories of we hate Zimbabweans because. And the funny thing is, if you look at Joburg in Harare is the safest place to be. Joburg is crazy.
Zero, envies, sharp.
Rasta, can I ask this young man a question?
Zed Pumula, 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 Pumula. Thomas' daughter, do you have a question or something to say?
I have 3 questions. I want to know, what is the currency for Orania in Cape Town? Number 1. And number 2, what did white people build in South Africa? Number 2. That is my 2 questions for Zed. And number 3 is that when Zimbabweans are coming to South Africa, why aren't they going to those 2 places?
Thomas' daughter, you can make your 3 questions. Ask 1, he responds. Ask 2, he responds. Ask 3, because he won't remember the 3. Ask 1, after it's done. 2, after it's done. 3, then you can. Sure.
Orania is a country within South Africa. Envis, what is the currency for Orania?
First, it's not about currency. What is...
No. You said that Orania is a country. A country has a currency. What is the currency for Orania?
What I want to say is, I never said currency. I said Orania is a country inside another country. If somebody tried to start another country in Zimbabwe,
it's okay.
that would never fly.
It's a country within South Africa.
But Orania is a place where only white people...
What is the currency for Orania? It's okay. What is the currency for Orania?
My sister, it's not about currency. That's what you have to understand. Currency is just a form of exchange. Currency is a form of exchange.
No,
it can be through paper or digital.
Please. No, if you don't want to answer,
it's not about currency.
If you don't want to answer the question,
okay. So why is it no South African black person?
No.
Why is it? Why is it no black South African is living on in?
What is the currency for Cape Town? What is the currency for Cape Town?
He's going to tell you it's not about currency, farmer.
I mean, he says that Orania is a country within South Africa, and we have a country which is within South Africa, which is Lesotho, that has its own currency. So he needs to tell me what is the currency of Orania. You come here and you say that why is it that black people can't go to private
So why
land?
aren't you fighting? Why aren't you fighting Lesotho? Because that's where South Africa gets its water.
Question. You failed to answer my question.
South Africa gets its water
Rasta,
from
please,
Lesotho.
please.
And
Why is this person still talking?
my sister, it's not about currency. It's about
everyone.
it's about economics, not currency. Economics.
Envis, farmer's daughter, wait, I'll give you a time back. Zed, you ask this guy a question, and after when he's responding, you come up, you jump up. Allow him to respond. If he's not answering, then you tell him to stop. Because you can't answer a question while a person is speaking, then stop. You ask a question.
I didn't ask him any question. No, Rasta, I didn't ask him any question.
Zed, I'm just making an example. I don't want to say it's farmer's daughter. I'm just saying to all of us, when you ask a question, allow the person to respond. When you hear they are not responding, you can't say stop. That's not how human beings operate. So right now he's quiet, farmer's daughter. I'll give you a time back. He's not answering your question, so you can make your submission or ask the next question. It's okay. Sharp.
For clarity, we didn't stop him. He literally wasn't answering the question and he was just deviating. So it wasted my time. So can I have my time back? Then I will submit. Because there's no point, guys, if you are going to ask a question and then you deviate, you're not answering. That's why I said, no, stop and answer the question. We need to really respect each other in terms of that. If a question is asked, then answer the question. Don't come up with stories and say that it's not about currency. If you're saying there's a country within a country, you need to tell us the currency of that country, because a country cannot operate within this country. Then you further go and ask us a stupid question that you should be asking your fellow people that are coming to South Africa to say that why are they not invading Orania? They are the ones who are desperate for greener pastures. Why are they not going to Orania, privately owned land, and going to actually serve those Muzungus? You come here, you tell us about how Muzungus built South Africa. What did Muzungu build in Zimbabwe, because you were also colonized? What did you build? What did your own government build for your own people, as such that they can't even provide basic employment opportunities for your own people? That your own people must sacrifice their lives coming to South Africa to come and work for minimum wage. Your people get paid 200 rands. If not, they are being paid by a bucket of grapes. And then you are here with an accent, American accent, and ICE is dealing with you decisively in America. And then you want to speak on Zimbabweans who are living the truth and the pain of being a Zimbabwean, a real Zimbabwean for that matter. You come here and you tell us about Harare. What does Harare benefit an average Zimbabwean in Zimbabwe? How does a Harare benefit a Zimbabwe in Zimbabwe? You come here, you tell us that no one wants to sweep the street. Why are they not? The important question is that why are they not sweeping streets in Zimbabwe? Why are they not providing road infrastructure in Zimbabwe? Your state is failing to provide basic employment. Your teachers and the salary of the equivalent to a first year undergraduate who's doing an internship, a whole professional. You're not questioning those things about your government. You talk here and you talk about accountability and fellow brothers and sisters. We are not fellow with people like you guys. We are not fellow with people like you. We cannot be fellow with people who lack accountability. You are where you are right now. You're not in Zimbabwe. But you're not talking about the changes you are bringing to Zimbabwe as a Zimbabwean. You're not coming to platforms to tell us what is your contribution towards Zimbabwe. As envious. All you do is come and twang and talk about history that you know nothing about, talking about the Boer War, frontline state. You have no idea. Who's your Minister of Education, Basic Education? Who's your Minister of International Relations? You won't tell me that. Then you come here, you come and want to be boastful and say South Africans don't want miscellaneous jobs.
I can gladly tell you all my ministers, all of them.
All right. In this, I told you, when a person is speaking, keep quiet and allow the speaker
I'm sorry,
to speak.
Very sorry.
Please keep quiet. If she's wrong, you will correct her. So allow her to speak and finish. I know it hurts, but allow her to speak and finish, because when you were speaking, you were hating South Africans as well. They allowed you to finish. So because you interject, I'll give her 6 minutes again. Thomas' daughter, take your 6 minutes. Do not interject the speaker. Allow the speaker to speak and finish. Even if it hurts, just allow the speaker to speak and finish.
So people like Envis, I really do not like really interacting with them much, because honestly they offer little to no information, or to be literally embarrassed publicly. Over 360 people 60 people were here and was being educated by a South African, and he's busy twanging. He thinks twanging is a thing on the internet. You're not bringing facts to the table. Your government is failing to provide those jobs that you say that Zimbabweans must occupy. Those very same jobs is what builds South Africans. There's no white person that builds South Africa. If white people build South Africa, then white people could have built Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe was colonized. What did white show us? What legacy did white people build for you? You are failing to maintain your own infrastructure and the infrastructure that white people left you with. You actually went and kicked them out of the farms and failed dismally to maintain those farms. In fact, your own government started giving those farms to their own lieutenant. Then you come and tell us, fellow brothers. We are fellow brothers with people that are in Zimbabwe right now, not people that are outside of Zimbabwe talking rubbish about Zimbabwe, about South Africans. We are fellow brothers with the people that are in Zimbabwe right now fighting Mnangagwa, who's beating your people left, right, and center. That's who we are fellow with. We are not fellow with any Zimbabwean who's outside of Zimbabwe, not living in his own country, fixing what's going on in their own country. Your people are suffering. And I can bet you $100 that you are Shona. You still owe Matebele people repatriations for the Holocaust that you did, black on black apartheid that you performed on those people. Then you come and talk about fellow. You failed to be fellow with your own people. How can you be fellow with us here in South Africa? You continue to marginalize the very same Matebele people in your own country. You think that you will live harmoniously with us. Fix yourself, my brother. Go back to your country. Your countrymen need you. Contribute positively to the society of your country and stop coming with misinformation. And while you're in there, get the education that Zimbabwe brags about, because clearly the one that you're getting in the state is a typical one that Black Americans are subjected to. Now you're also subjected to it. How dare you say in Orania, a privately owned land exclusively made for Afrikaners, not even white people from Britain can access it, and it's privately owned. It's a country. And when I ask you about a currency, you're telling me about economics. How do you talk about economics and not talk about the currency in the same line? Come back and get a proper education from real Africans and stop going to Black American schools, because the only thing they teach you there is to twang. Twang. Zero education. You're a true representation of a person that actually was uprooted from Africa and put into America and indoctrinated. That is why right now the ignorance is at full display. It takes other African people to come and teach you about your own continent, most of your own country. Come back with and stay with your people there, and they will teach you a history lesson or two. You come and talk about Boer War, you talk about 1960, this is the history lesson that they teach at grade 2. Come back home. I'll rest there.
No problem. Everyone, look, I just want to say this. Before I give Envis to indemnify himself, then we give Roxy and Danaik 5. Family, I just want to say this. TikTok is toxic. If you have a soft heart, don't come to TikTok. I am begging you, if you have a soft heart, don't come to TikTok, because you are going to your heart is going to stop. So family, if you have a soft heart, don't come to TikTok. TikTok is toxic. You need also, when you come to TikTok, you need anger management. I hope you are listening. Anger management. Because uzambe ekhaya ukwatile urasta. And family, look, me, I don't say anything. I just listen and I keep quiet. I don't say anything. But it's fine. Envies, please respond. I'll give you 3 minutes. Then we give rules. Sharp.
Right. So I would like to help my sister understand something because I feel like the judgment is real. Like you said, my brother, TikTok is a toxic place. Funny thing is, my sister says I'm in the States. No, I actually live in Zimbabwe. I'm part of the Zimbabwean economy. I'm helping my country build every single day. And I live in Harare. So you coming for my English just because I talk well and I'm well articulated does not mean anything. My sister, thank you very much for pointing out like my English is good. Thank you. And to the point of Orania, everyone knows Orania that's how countries start, if you didn't know how things start. And Orania has a currency called the Ora, which is 1-to-1 with the Rand. If I'm mistaken, please go on Google and check. Right? Number 2, I keep coming to the issue of Zimbabweans. Yes, Zimbabweans might have been... Okay, let me say this. Yes, if Zimbabweans want to leave South Africa, they should leave. Why not? I'm not against it. If Zimbabweans don't see South Africa being the country that feeds their families and whatever and so forth, they should leave. It's the same thing with Nigerians in Dubai. They're being chased because they're not contributing anything. They're doing the worst crimes there, and it's a fact. Zimbabweans, every countrywide, actually nationwide or wherever they are, you will never hear problems with Zimbabweans. It's only South Africa because apparently we're neighbors. And like Zed said, the issue is to point out the black on black situation, which South Africans think or have built a system of saying another black person is not the same as a black South African. So, yes, if Zimbabweans want to leave South Africa, they should. But do not hold guns to their heads. Do not hold knives to their heads. Because when South Africans are in Zimbabwe, as many as they are in Zimbabwe, there's a lot of South Africans here. No one holds a gun to their head. No one holds a machete to their heads and tells them to get out. No one. South African businesses in Zimbabwe are thriving. Let's take, for example, Pick n Pay. It's thriving very well in Zimbabwe. Zimbabweans shop at Pick n Pay every single time, and it's actually helping the South African economy. Why? People are attacking the ordinary black Zimbabwean when they can't attack their corporates. I don't get it. Because that same money Zimbabweans are spending in Pick n Pay, those products, a lot of products from South Africa are being bought in Zimbabwe. And then, my sister, when it comes to farms, the issue of that's why I said you're not exposed to one thing. The issue of farms that you're talking about.
Please,
I'm just finishing up on the farm issue.
Your time is up.
I'm summarizing on the farm issue and I'm done. Farms in Zimbabwe are being very productive. We are now the #1 producer of blueberries in Africa. If you can go check that, the stats are there. We're now almost at a point where we're self-sufficient in the farming that we're doing in our own country. We're almost at a point where we've reorganized everything and we're trying to build our own country. And I keep telling you, the issue with Africa is politics, not the ordinary person on the ground. Simple, I'm done.
Sure. Hetman, I hope you are good, man. I want to say this to Hetman. TikTok is toxic. Hetman, if your heart is that one of a battery, please do not come to the live. And everyone, family who has a heart of a battery, I'm asking you, Nyakela, Asomblief, Haste 2. If your heart is that one of a battery, please do not stay on this TikTok live because your heart will stop. And I'm going to be arrested because of your heart. When it stops, you are gone. Sharp. Roxy, how are you? Roxy? You sound far. Are you scared?
No, I'm not.
Where are you from?
I'm from Zimbabwe. I'm currently in Harare.
No problem. So talk to us, Roxy girl. Roxy girl, here we are talking about many people say we should remove Zimbabwe as a frontline state. They are saying Zimbabwe shouldn't be on the list because you see the list on the screen where we have frontline state. They are saying Zimbabwe didn't help them. How do you feel when they are speaking so bad about your country? Is there any good that your country has done to other Africans, including South Africa? Or is there any good that we can look up to Zimbabwe? Or is there any good that you can give us in Harare? Because I love Zimbabwe, I want to visit Zimbabwe. Talk to us, I'm listening, go for it.
Okay, personally, right, I don't want to say much about the situation because I'm young and I would probably get a lot of things incorrect. But my take is that when we're talking about frontline states, we can't necessarily remove Zimbabwe. But the issue is saying, is Zimbabwe deserving? We can't say it's deserving because that would be saying Zimbabweans should feel entitled to stay in South Africa because they helped during the war. That's the thing that's wrong. If you want to stay in South Africa, you should get the proper documentation and you should try to live peacefully with other South Africans. Not trying to be disrespectful, not trying to fight with South Africans just because you feel like because Zimbabwe was a frontline state, I should stay in South Africa, they are my brothers and sisters, stuff like that, right? So what I'm saying is that if you're going to be in South Africa, act like a proper human being. When in Rome, do what the Romans do. Don't go bashing people, telling them that you won't leave when they tell you to be respectful of their laws. La uphendule eceleni, as if you deserve to be there. But the other issue is that, right, we can't necessarily say that Zimbabweans should leave South Africa because, okay, it's like South Africans are all over the world, right? Zimbabweans are also all over the world. If we say people can't go to certain places, does that then mean that embassies should shut down? Everyone who's not in their country should go back home? No. But I feel like in the way that you express yourself as a Zimbabwean in another country is where the whole difference is. I don't think South Africans would have a problem with Zimbabweans if they were being respectful, right? So I feel like it's all about your code of conduct, how you conduct yourself in a foreign land, because at the end of the day, you're not a South African. But then again, this is not saying that you should be hateful towards Zimbabweans just because they're in your country and you feel like they are being rude. I feel like just tell them in a nice way that, know what, conduct yourself like a visitor. This is not your land. Because at the end of the day, a Zimbabwean will never be a South African, right? But then again, on the point that was being said by, I think it's Sid, that you are saying we are not brothers and sisters with other black people. I feel like I'm both ways on that point. Because, right, all of us, we are Africans. So in that sense, we're brothers and sisters. But if someone is a murderer, a criminal, a thief, you can't expect to be proudly saying that this person is my brother. Not saying that Zimbabweans are thieves and murderers and whatever, but I just feel like due to the recent things that we've been seeing, like recently we saw a bus full of ARVs. I don't know what the story was with that, but the internet was saying it's Zimbabweans. I feel like at this point, guys, let's not be hateful, but let's just conduct ourselves in a way that lifts up your flag. Imagine now Zimbabweans are being painted like bad people, like thieves, murderers, because of a few people in South Africa who were acting funny. It's now painting a bad picture of all Zimbabweans in general, when not everyone is like that. Personally, I agree with Emvis that Zimbabwe is getting better. But at the same time, you can't really be saying just because we're getting better as an economy, we should go and leech off of other people's economies. Right. That's just how I view the situation.
No problem, my sister. I hear you. You are too young to possess such understanding, but we appreciate you and thank you for coming to the platform. We appreciate you. I see even a comment section. They are saying big up, and they are saying thank you so much. They are saying you are smart. No one is criticizing you, Roxy. You surprise comment section, because Roxy, comment section, they love drama. But you just came and you spoke so well, and they are disappointed. Thank you. Let us hear. Hetman, I'll come to you. Let me hear Danak. It's Danaik or Danak.
It's Danai. Yeah, it's Danai.
How are you?
You wanna hear me?
I can't hear you.
Yeah, I'm a Zimbabwean based in South Africa. And I've been here So I've been here for a little.
Continue. The topic is on the screen. Sure.
Okay. So I've been based in South Africa for nearly 13 years now. Okay. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, mamas. I can hear you.
Okay, all right. On this topic, on this whole thing, it's black against black. Umlungu uyahleka. He's sitting there and laughing at us. I've been seeing Camps Bay being taken over by a white man. They're buying holiday homes. They're turning it to a retirement village. I never seen any South African have this whole thing or privilege to say, I need to own also a property. I never even see a South African have an exposure to say, I stay in Durban, I have to live in Durban.
All right. Danaik, it's clear that you can't see the topic. The topic is light. Maybe you do not have glasses, or maybe you can't see, or maybe you are blind.
I'm getting there. I am just getting there. I'm just pinpointing things that you guys have to know when you say you can kick out Zimbabwe on this whole thing of frontline thing. Africa, we just have to unite, be one. Unless if you have other things into nilwela nina, it's umsebenzi makishin, and you're fighting for this what can you say, a waitress or a waitressing job. That's the only thing that you are fighting for, because the health sector, they've got papers and everything. All this time you fighting whilst these white are taking over South Africa. Thank you.
Are you done? Danai,
Yes, my point was only to say black is against the black, whilst white are taking over Africa. That was my point. You are fighting, saying these Zimbabweans are taking our jobs, whilst
Mara,
these jobs we are talking
Mara,
about
Danai,
is housekeeping,
Danai,
waitressing,
Danai,
and that's the
Danai,
only job that you're talking about. Whilst your
Danai.
whole country is being taken over, the villas are gone, the 3/4 of this country is gone, but you are not aware. These white people are coming in 20 years to come for a retirement
Alright.
village. They'll be here again. But now,
Mike,
you, you, yes, I can hear you, John.
alright. I think you are repeating yourself. But the topic was on the screen, you chose to ignore it, but it's fine. So I think Farmer's daughter has a question for you. Farmer's daughter, you can ask the question, please make it short so that we can hear Hetman and hear others. Sure.
I want to know when she says that we are our sisters are fighting for restaurant jobs and jobs to be made. Are those not jobs?
They are jobs. That's why I'm saying us on the lower levels, you see, we are the ones that are fighting. The upper ones are collaborating. Like these health sectors, there is a Nigerian doctor, there is a Chinese doctor, there is an whatever you can call them. They are there. They've already taken over all the education sector. There are teachers
Okay,
coming
in your
Zimbabwe.
in your 2
That's
minutes.
where I was saying.
In your 2 minutes, and you said that white people are taking over the country, but are taking over Africa. Who's predominantly, especially in South Africa, who's predominantly working for these white people?
I'm not so sure because I don't even know the percentage of what's going on in the labor departments and all. So I don't know.
It's Zimbabweans who are actually working for these Mozungus that you guys keep referring to. Most Zimbabweans work from Zungu here, more than in any other people, any other race. So I was just trying to show you that your own people are enabling the takeover of South Africa and the rest of Africa by working for them, because you are willing to work for them, and for that matter, you are willing to work for them for a cheaper labor. So I will rest there.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Hetman, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Hey, I'm alright, bro. It's bad on TikTok today. The streets are bad, bro. And people are up against each other, bro. What do you think, Hetman? What are your thoughts on the topic?
Yeah. Mr. Rasta. Look, we can't deny history.
And also, Hetman, your profile picture is scary. It's scary. Please do something about it. But you can go for the
No.
topic.
No. Leave my Tokolosi there. I like him there. But no, Mr. Osea, I think, unfortunately, as much as we can disagree as people, we can't change history. History stays the way it is. It stays the way it is. It's on black and white. So, yeah, we can agree that these countries that are there, Angola, Botswana, Lesotho, Mozambique, Tanzania, Zambia, and Zimbabwe, they contributed to many struggles. You know, in Angola, for example, there are still landmines in some of their forests. You know, there are parts of Angola you can't even go into, southern part of Angola, because there are still landmines that were laid there during the war of liberating our various countries. But you know, Mr. Osei, I think let's not hate a country. Let's deal with the people, because Zimbabwe as a country itself, I don't think it's done anything wrong to any of us. It's the people of the country that are a problem. You know, when you listen to the lady who was here before me talking about people are fighting for cleaning work, the waiters works, etc., and the white man has taken over the things. Well, now tell me if that's what you're going to base your argument on, to say that we are fighting you for a cleaning job, whatever. In fact, I am not fighting anyone for a cleaning job. I'm fighting for those people to pay tax. Because Mr. Osea, do you know how much money the people that sell tomatoes and potatoes on the side of the road make and don't pay any tax to your country? That money goes back home. And then secondly, they come and tell us about, what do you call this, being waiters and so forth. It's not all of us that are going to be CEOs of Standard Bank, Mr. Osea. Somebody's going to have to do the minuscule jobs. But now when they come and tell us, no, focus on the Muzungu alone, it's not that we're not focused on the white people. Every country, whether white people, whether it is Namibia, South Africa, whichever, Botswana, they are putting laws in place that are dealing with these white people. Because we understand that these colleagues, firstly, as many Pan-Africanists who usually come, you would come and tell us that we are living in a white man system. We're living in the system of the white man. This is why he created a policy, willing buyer, willing seller. And when he sells his land, let's say agricultural land, he can withdraw it from market because he's not happy with what government is what do you call this? What government is charging him or trying to pay for his land. So we're creating laws that are countering these issues. But now when it comes to like she said, waitering, being a waiter, being a house cleaner, Mr. Osea, it might not be the best job, but it's at least a paying job. That 6,000 you get a month, or even 5,000 you get a month from cleaning somebody's house, is at least bread and electricity in your household. I don't know why people can speak down on it. And on top of that, Mr. Osei, in the same breath, your government has what they call minimum wage bill, which dictates whether it is a person cleaning your yard or somebody cleaning your house or somebody who's just doing your gardening. There's a minimum wage you pay that person. But what is happening, Mr. Osei, and I think this is what our fellow Africans are not hearing when people are complaining about. They come into a country, they take whatever salary the madam or the boss is willing to give them, countering the minimum wage bill that is there. So it's just wasting time that our various governments sit in parliament and pass bills and get our legal fraternity to sit down and apply their brains on these laws. So if they come and tell us that we are just fighting for those jobs, let us fight for those jobs, because we're making sure that the minimum wage bill that is in place is actually being respected in the country. And it's quite interesting, Mr. Osei, because I believe if you go to those countries too, if you go to Zimbabwe, Zambia, even Angola, they also have minimum wage bills there that you have to respect as a person who's not from the country. So what is happening here, Mr. Osei, is actually taking us backwards. Because even if your government says, let's say 50 rand per hour, someone comes in and says, I'm willing to work for 10 rand per hour, who do you think the employer is going to hire? You who wants 50 rand or the person who's asking 10 rand? They'll take the guy who asks 10 rand. That's what they need to understand. But it is quite unfortunate. I was telling people, I was here yesterday on your comments and saying, it seems maybe the Zimbabweans who were part of this frontline state of the 80s were brave people. Because this batch that we're getting, and it's quite interesting, it's a tendency that I've been picking up, Mr. Osei, is that we've had Miss, what is her name, Miss Casey. She's been here with us on this platform. She's told us that one police officer walking with a baton, the police version of a Nopkiri, can take 10 people to prison without having a weapon, a pew-pew. But then you ask yourself, if there is no crime in that country, but why do they come and commit crimes in our country? So then you start understanding that it's a mentality, it's a mindset of, in their country they'll behave, but in other countries they want to come and be disrespectful. And I think that's where people are having a problem with them. It's the things they will do in someone's country. Like, for example, my country, Namibia, we have a number of them here. You open up a bogus university today, people apply, people come study there, and then when people leave for holiday, come back in 2026 to come continue their studies, the bogus university has disappeared. Suddenly, that building has been converted into a salon. So these are the type of things that you sit and ask yourself that what is wrong? And if people don't want to listen, like what Roxy, the young lady Roxy was saying, if people don't want to sit down and listen to other people, we're going to have these fights every day. We're going to have people insulting each other and people not choosing to listen. But it's very interesting, Mr. Osei, that like Miss Casey once said, they are very comfortable to come and commit these crimes in other countries. But in their country, which is the land of Mnangagwa and the land of Mugabe, they would not. Some of the things they commit in our countries, they would not do that. In closing, Mr. Osei, no, I'm closing. I'm closing, my leader. In closing, because I see my time is up. In closing, if the mayor of the city of Harare was to say, no hawking, no selling vegetables in the main street of Harare, I'm telling you, Mr. Osei, within 24 hours, all those people would pack their things and move without arguments. But it's quite interesting that this thing happened in our countries. But let me park it, sir. Thank you very much.
No problem, Hetman. I see Roxy's back. So kumnandi kwarasta. Kumnandi kwarasta. But it's fine. Let us hear Lutando. Lutando, how are you? Okay. Let me hear Lutando, then I will hear Z. Lutando, how are you?
Hello.
Lutando,
Hi.
how are you?
I'm okay. How are you doing?
I'm alright. Where are you from, Lutando?
I'm from Zimbabwe.
You are from where?
Zimbabwe.
No problem. So what
Sorry?
made you request? Please.
What made me request is I also want to become a part of this conversation that is ongoing, and put my 2 cents to the situation and try to explain from a Zimbabwean point of view.
Go for it. I'm listening.
Okay. One of the things I know about Zimbabweans is we're very good adapters. Depending on who you're dealing with, because obviously people cannot be the same. But there's a culture in Zimbabwe of people being very good adapters. No matter which country they go to, they are very much able to go and adapt to the situation or the system that is there. Now, the problem with South Africa is there's already a lot of crime that is happening there without the foreigners. So now what then happens is when Zimbabweans come that side, the ones that do commit the crimes are committing crimes, but there's already a system that is there of crime that is high. So they now come into that system and they blend into that system and become criminals also, because they're criminals also already existing there. So now it becomes a policing problem where the police cannot contain the amount of crime that's already in South Africa. So when you have the Zimbabweans that are coming that side, it's because they cannot commit crime here because, well, in Zimbabwe is a very peaceful country. Crime is very low. We're not saying we don't have crime here, but these people tend to come that side and they blend into a system that's already I wouldn't want to use vulgar words, but a system that's already not working. And that's one of the problems that are there. So you find that even parents this side will be shocked to hear that, oh, your son is killing people, or your son is doing this in the streets of South Africa. To them, they don't know that version of their son because that version did not exist when that person was in Zimbabwe. But when they cross the borders, because of poverty and stuff, people then tend to blend into what seems easy. So the easier way of doing things would be, oh yeah, we're going to be robbing people. Because you find that I, as a Zimbabwean, if I get into South Africa, we now have a problem where there are some South Africans that even know our language. So when you're walking in the streets of South Africa, you can meet someone and think that they're Zimbabwean and they can rob you. And this is not a new thing. This is something that you as South Africans, you know that there's so much crime already in South Africa, but you're finding blame in Zimbabweans and you're putting the blame in Zimbabweans, but your system already hasn't been working for a very long time. So now my question is, why can South Africa not contain the amount of crime that is in South Africa and that is existing already? There's someone who mentioned that these people, when they come to their own countries, they don't commit these crimes. They don't because our police has a no-nonsense policy. In as much as there's so much corruption in Zimbabwe, we have a no-nonsense policy where if you commit a crime, you're going to pay for that crime. But I think the situation in South Africa somehow is allowing these people, because us as Zimbabweans, we also don't want these criminals to be walking and roaming around the streets. Lock them up. Lock them up. Don't keep them there. Why are they still there? Why are they still roaming in the streets? Because as far as crime is concerned, if a serial killer moves from South Africa to America to China, that person becomes a problem for the whole world. That's why there's Interpol, where they help each other to take out these criminals. So why are we not taking out these criminals? Why are we keeping them in the streets and then complaining about them? Why not lock them up? That's another problem. And then my other issue is, in as much as we're fighting black to black, we look very stupid to some extent, because we're fighting for maybe the 20%, the smaller percentage of the money that the country is making. And yet the white person, or the white Italian person who has the restaurant that is functioning and maybe corruptly functioning, is making more money than all of us. So why then are we attacking Zimbabweans? Why then are we attacking the people that seem like they're in the minority? We're doing that because we are looking at things from a poverty point of view. We're not looking at the bigger picture. Why then are people in South Africa okay with the Italians owning restaurants? Why are we looking at Sandton and then we have, because I've been to restaurants in Sandton and never have I heard that a black person owned the restaurant. Why are we not fighting for those type of jobs where we have our very own black people owning these restaurants and then employing other black people? I think that then we'll have a better understanding of what then happens to salaries. But then the problem we have is we're fighting for these small jobs, yet the bosses are the white people. So what then does it say about us as people? Does it mean that still up until now, we are looking at things from a colonized point of view? Are we still colonized?
Lutando, I think Farmer's daughter has a question, but before she comes in, I just want to say this. Family, I told you when you come to TikTok, you need to have heart medication. Hetman, you need to have heart medication. If you do not have heart medication, please leave the life, because your heart might stop. And when it stops, I won't know. I will just hear what to ambi. Because family, I TikTok. TikTok in Amasimba. Farmer's daughter, you can come in. Come in.
I'm going to come in quickly with a quick submission before I ask my question. You know, it's so disheartening when a woman speaks a whole lot of nonsense. I have to say this. I hardly ever say
No, you can't say I have a whole lot of nonsense that expect me to keep quiet about it. Don't say names. When you're addressing me, address me in a manner that is respectful. Do not disrespect me and expect me to keep quiet. I might be talking from a point of view that is not understanding as much as you want me to understand, but do not call me stupid. You do not get to do that. This is a platform where everyone is allowed to say whatever they want to say. You can't bully people and say nonsense about people. Correct me when I'm wrong. Tell me when I'm wrong. Because I'm also not in a position of understanding, because maybe I don't have the information. So don't call me stupid. You don't get to do that.
I didn't call you stupid.
You don't get to do that. You don't get to do that. You can't bully people simply because you have the numbers. We are all here to discuss a situation that is ongoing. I'm talking from my point of view. That means I'm talking from a view of what I know. So
all right, calm down.
And Rasta, I thought I was actually next after Lutando, ne?
All right, gents, calm down, ladies, calm down. And this thing of Rasta, control your panel, I don't like it. Because I'm here, I'm doing so. So when you come and say Rasta, control your panel, I don't like it. The reason this panel is here, the reason we are here is because I'm controlling it. So when you people say control your panel, all of you are not my responsibility. You all need to know that, please. Somebody comes and behaves like this, I didn't send them to come and do this. So all of you you are all not my responsibility. Please. So, and I'm not here to control anybody. Please. This thing of Rasta control, I hate it. Let it stop right now, please. And also, Tando, when you requested here, you subjected yourself. Thank you, Tricia. Thank you, Tricia. Thank you, Tricia. Lutando, when you requested and you spoke, many people got angry. You don't know that you were disrespecting people, but you were. You were talking rubbish, you were talking nonsense. But people kept quiet.
You
But
people
right?
are saying nonsense. I'm going off your panel. You can say whatever it is that you want to say, but
right.
even if you say I'm
Lutando.
saying nonsense, I'm talking from a point of view that I understand. You people are here. You want to say nonsense about Zimbabweans. You don't want to hear the truth.
All right. Please go off my panel. I don't need you. You don't have to be here. I removed you because you think, look, everyone listen to this. To be on Rasta, you are not doing me a favor. All of you are not doing me a favor. You are not. Because you requested because you saw we were talking. Whether you came or you didn't come, it was not going to make any difference, Lutando. So please, you are not doing Rasta a favor. I dropped you and it won't make any difference. And people are going to respond to you while you are on the comments. They are going to say what they want to say. So just wait there and listen. People are going to talk. Look, you are not doing Rasta a favor. When you come here, you talk nonsense and rubbish, people are going to respond. And I told you, when you come to Rasta, you need to have a big heart. Nonsense. Farmer's daughter, you can respond.
Nonsense is word in itself, and when you nonsense is a word, so it is so disheartening when a female is speaking nonsense. The first nonsense she said is that there was a system of of crime in South Africa, and a system. I'm guessing he's just referring to policing and our courts. So I want to know. I wanted to actually ask her a question. What are the conviction rates of, for instance, I'll take one crime, grape, between South Africa and Zimbabwe. You'll find that Zimbabwe has little conviction rates. So the crime is being committed, but people are not being prosecuted for it. Then she speaks about a system that enables crimes. That is one of the nonsense. The other nonsense she spewed is that she does not know any black-owned restaurants in Sandton. Artistry is one of them, and on top of the many restaurants that are black-owned by black owned. Another question that I wanted to ask her: what actually businesses do Zimbabweans have in Zimbabwe that are hiring South Africans? You come here, you talk about that we need to fight Italians. Why are Zimbabweans, when they're coming here, not fighting those Italians that you're talking about? Those very same Italians that you're talking about are the same Italians that your sisters and your brothers are working for. You come here and want to preach your double standards upon South Africans. That is part of the nonsense that you spewed here. You talk here, you talk about why we're not fighting white people. Why are you not fighting for white people? Why are you the first people to settle for minimum wage, for below minimum wage that is set in South Africa? In South Africa, there's a system of minimum wage, of what minimum wages should get. The first people that actually disregard that law is Zimbabweans. You are working to work for lesser wages. So what system is enabling you to work for lesser wages? Who is teaching you to spike our roads? Is there an academy in South Africa that you need to that you know of that is offered to Zimbabweans that are teaching you to grape our kids, that are teaching you to spike our roads? You speak about a system, but your own system can't even cater for your own people. And then you say that people are fighting from a point of poverty. Who's impoverished between South Africans and Zimbabweans exactly? Who's impoverished from a Zimbabwean who's willing to work for a bucket of grapes, and a South African who's willing to work for a job in that very same breath? And 5,000 rands according to minimum wage, but it would not work for it until they settle for that. But a Zimbabwean is willing to get paid by a bucket of grapes in Stellenbosch. So when you're speaking about point of view of Zimbabweans. Which poverty are you from? Which point of view is this poverty directed at? Zimbabweans? Are you talking to us or are you talking to South Africans? You came here, you spit a lot of nonsense in the aim of disrespecting South Africans. Your own people are actually committing the worst crimes in South Africa. There is a National Statistic Bureau that has actually reported on the crime specifically on Zimbabweans because we've lived with you guys so long, since 1994. You will notice that ever since the influx of your own people, crime has went up. Let's look at our prisons right now. Who's filling up our prisons right now? Is it not foreign nationals? Then you come and talk about a system that is currently failing Zimbabwe, and it's failing you particularly as a woman and kids in Zimbabwe. You come here, you talk about system failure. You can't address and talk to the system that is failing your own people. Your own people are suffering. I said this yesterday, that when you see even women leaving countries for greener pastures, then you are messed up. Your state is collapsing. Women hardly live in times of trouble. Not even Nigerian women live the way you guys live there in Zimbabwe. The fact that you have a system failing you, that is why you as a woman can even cross the river, come to South Africa. Then you come and talk about a failed system. If you want to talk about system, request again, let's go up against systems between Zimbabwe and South Africa, and let's look at which system is failing who. Then we talk about systems. You Zimbabweans, you think that we are going to nurse your feelings with the truth. You have zero accountability towards yourself and in yourself. What you want to do, you think that bashing South Africa that is currently accommodating you, feeding your kids, feeding everybody, you think that it will make your situation better. You will never have a claim in South Africa, and your kids and your grandkids and whatever generation that you will bear will never have a claim in South Africa, like it or not. Like it or not, we are not going to hide the truth from you guys. What you're not going to do is hide behind South Africa and say that South Africa has crime. It has crime because of it's housing 3 million Zimbabweans. It's housing amongst other immigrants that are here. We don't even know how many illegal ones are in the country. You do not want to address that. And as a woman, again, I dare you to come up here and let's talk about this very same systems of your country that are very prejudiced against yourself as a woman and yourself as a child, or your own kids that is still favoring men up until this point. I really dislike or really get disappointed when women come up to panels and just to spew nonsense. It's so disheartening, because we should do better as women. We should know better. I understand men, maybe their focus is just niche, but women are normally very educated and very informed about the issues surrounding them and what is affecting them. I rest there. Thank you, Rasta.
No, I just want to say, Tricia, thank you for the support. I appreciate you. Tricia, thank you for the support. I appreciate you. But farmer's daughter, to say men's focus, you understand, it might be only Nyash, that one strikes to the heart. So family, look. As a host, sometimes when submissions come in, some of them, they go straight to their heart. Even myself, Hetman, I think you can admit, bro. Some of the submissions, they will strike you even as a man, even as everybody. Hetman, would you agree with me on that? There are some submissions. There are some submissions. You know, Hetman, sometimes I get angry at my moderators and like, fuck, I need to close. Because some of the things that are happening on TikTok.
So, sir, but the problem is farmers can say that because when the other ones, I don't want to mention their names, please, they will come here like Tokolosis. But that other country, when they arrive here, that's all they say. It's the Nyash. So let's move on.
All right, Zed, you can come in before we give Roxy and stuff.
Thank you, Rasta. Thank you. Can you hear me though?
Loud and clear, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Rasta. You know, one thing I've realized today, is a saying that do not confuse me with facts, my mind is made up. That many youngsters have absolutely no interest of reading. We've lived the history of South Africa, some of us. We're not born yesterday. So we understand very well what has happened here. But it's very sad. It's not painful. It's very sad to hear people trying to rewrite that history. In 1994, as a person who grew up under apartheid, I can tell you exactly how South Africa was in 1993 and 1994 before the elections. The only crime that was rife in South Africa at that time was political violence between UDF, Azapo, ANC, Nkatha. Other than that, all crime in South Africa in terms of statistics was normal. Why? Because there was policing. And then the comrades took over. And when I'm saying the comrades, I want you to bear in mind that these comrades are the same comrades that are running ZANU-PF. Then the comrades took over. They prioritize ideology rather than pragmatism of how to run a country. And in that prioritization of ideology, they then began to say Africa is for Africans. The border, this very theory that the EFF is now being accused of pushing, and indeed they are pushing, started with the ANC. So Malema simply sucked this from the breast, as it were, of course not literally, figuratively, from the breast of those who mentored him. Thabo Mbeki is on record making assertions time without number how that Zimbabwe has helped South Africa. For me, as I have already said, times without a number. For me, that's neither here nor there. That's not going to put the bread on the table. Now, let's come to the issue of the jobs that people identify as minute. I actually wrote down here, Rasta, for your attention, that I pay a month my helper here in my house 7,500. And that's a South African. And I am saying to everybody who's in the middle class, right, or even higher class, they must also take the necessary step of ensuring that they give these jobs to South Africans. Why? When I went to university many, many years ago, I actually did waitressing where I grew up in Port Elizabeth in the restaurants that existed at the time. And that money, as a pocket money for holidays, I was able to buy myself so many things. Are you following me? So, no, the way someone is asking me, am I telling you that Zimbabweans were not here in the 80s and the 90s? No, they were here. We lived amongst them. I've already said that. However, not in the number. Remember, I said earlier on, we measure risk with likelihood and impact. Okay? So we have to look at the impact of the mass migration. It's like a replacement theory of some sort where I even said earlier on, where there are women, some of them, not all of them, are even giving birth twice a year. This is problematic if you are in a foreign land and you then start fighting for these rights. None of us who have spoken here, and this includes Farmer's daughter, I think I can speak on her behalf as far as this is concerned, just to demonstrate how reasonable we are. We have never stood in any platform, including this one, and argued that we don't want Zimbabweans or any other foreigner. All what we have simply said, do not come into our country illegally. Why? When you perpetrate crime, it becomes difficult to trace you. And please don't tell us about our criminals. Someone, I can't remember who it is, made an example yesterday. If you were to come to my house and find that my daughter is standing on top of the chair of my couch, right, in the lounge, or the dining room is standing on top of the chairs or of the table, are you going to go and do the same? No, you're not allowed to come to my house, see what my children are doing in my house and start behaving the same. You are not authorized to do so. You need permission. Okay? Your role in this, you are a visitor. And I think it was Roxy who said this. I stand to be corrected. When in Rome, do as Romans do. Then you will never hear South Africans, the Zimbabweans with whom, we used to be fans, and some of these guys did not even come from Zimbabwe. We used to be fans of soccer clubs that had stars from the SADC region, and we loved those players as though they were our brothers. We lived in the locations with Zimbabweans, Mozambicans, you name them. We never had these wars with them. Why? They were not here as an influx. They were not here illegally. They were not here to deny our children who are doing matric or at high school an opportunity to work at Spare or at McDonald's. And then you come and tell me tomorrow that no, those are menial jobs. It's not your decision to make. It's not your country. You are not even supposed to be in this country. Legally, you are not bringing any scarce skill. So you have no business to be having this discussion with me and then accuse me of hatred. No, we don't hate you, but it's okay for you to believe that lie. As Goebbels said, tell a lie long enough, people will believe it. And then you accuse us that we are the ones who are suffering from colonialism. No, we are not suffering from colonialism, good people. Okay? For an example, Mzilikazi and his children are Zimbabweans, whether you like it or not. But Mzilikazi was not born in Zimbabwe. We all know this. Well, if that is the case, the same is true with the descendants of Jan van Riebeeck. We are not all racists. Okay? And I made an example. I said the Atlantic slavery trade, which no African wants to talk about. It was Africans that sold Africans to Europeans to be slaves. That's how you have people called, people who are in Jamaica and people who are Black Americans. And then you think just because we are all Black, we are a monolith. No, that's completely nonsensical. Let's observe the law of the country. Let's encourage our brothers and sisters who are here illegally to go home. Let them come through the proper channels. Then you are going to see what will be happening. You'll have tremendous. What they've achieved here is to raise a Dudula. Thank you, Rasta, for the opportunity. I always appreciate it. Thank you very much.